Have you ever wondered how the carbon cycle works? Of course you haven't, but we are going to explain it anyway. Carbon is very important to humans because we are made of 18.5% carbon. The carbon cycle doesn't start anywhere because it's a cycle. For simplicity, let's start with carbon in the atmosphere. In the atmosphere, carbon is in the form of CO2. CO2 gets dissolved into large bodies of water through diffusion. Marine life like snails are made partially of carbon. Snails mineralize carbon dioxide into calcium carbonate. When the marine life dies, their bodies sink to the ocean floor, and over time the calcium carbonate turns into limestone.
Over millions of years, the carbon stored in limestone is compressed into fossil fuels, like coal and oil. Humans then mine the coal and oil and burn it to create energy. This releases the CO2 back into the atmosphere and closes its section of the cycle. Now that the CO2 is in the atmosphere again, plants turn it into carbon by photosynthesis. As plants convert glucose into energy, they release a bit of CO2 back into the atmosphere.
Plants are then consumed by consumers, or they eventually die. If they are consumed, their carbon is passed on to the consumer. Eventually, both the consumer and the plant die, and when they die, their carbon is decomposed by bacteria.
The bacteria returns some of the carbon to the earth, where it can be compressed into fossil fuels again. It also releases some into the atmosphere through respiration. Carbon has four major inorganic and organic reservoirs. The first is terrestrial biosphere. This includes freshwater systems and non-living organic material. The oceans are another, which hold dissolved inorganic carbon and marine life. The third is sediments like fossil fuel and dirt. The fourth is the atmosphere.
Deforestation contributes to the carbon cycle by reducing the amount of carbon dioxide that trees can consume. Forest fires also contribute to CO2 emissions by not only releasing carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, but also reducing the amount of carbon dioxide trees can absorb.
Any form of transportation burns fossil fuels and releases carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere. The burning of fossil fuels for energy purposes releases carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere. Carbon is found in the four organic compounds of proteins, carbohydrates, lipids, and nucleic acids.
Carbon dioxide comprises approximately 0.04% of the tropospheric gases.
CO2 contributes to the Earth's natural thermostat because the more CO2 in the atmosphere means more heat can be held there. This makes the Earth warmer.
Fossil fuels and the diffusion of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere into the ocean are the two greatest influences on the tropospheric concentration.
The ocean and troposphere are the two largest sinks for carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide moves quickly into and out of oceans. When it is in oceans, it does not trap heat anymore.
The two biggest anthropogenic interventions are humans and fossil fuels. Humans emit carbon dioxide into the atmosphere and also cut down trees and drive cars. Fossil fuels release lots of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere when burned.